Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we'll hear from a high school football player in Parsippany who was recently named Young Man of the Year for his friendship with an autistic classmate. We'll also learn about Live Like a Unicorn, a New Jersey nonprofit that looks to help kids with brain and spinal cord cancer. But first, one of the first signs of spring is the annual Ocean County St. Patrick's Day Parade, happening Saturday, March 11th. Joining me now to talk about the parade is the committee's vice president, Patrick Jockel. Patrick, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I love parades. We were talking off camera how involved I am in the Columbus Day parades up here in Morris County, but I know Seaside likes to put on a show all year round. Tell us all about your parade.
Well, we took over the parade about 6 years ago from Dennis Kelly, who is still involved with it. And it is held the first full Saturday in the month of March, unless last year there was a snowstorm, so we held it in April. So this year it's going to be Saturday, March 11th. It starts at noon and goes to whenever it's done. Thomas King is the president of the parade, and he is the drum major for the Shamrock and Thistle Pipes and Drum. And if you go to the reviewing stand, I am the MC, so I'll be announcing all the participants as they walk by.
That is such a fun job, right? Because you get to bring the action and the excitement to the thousands of people that attend.
Yes, it's funny because when there's a lull in the parade, I throw out trivia questions for Ireland and some Gaelic phrases and all that, and people seem to really enjoy that.
Absolutely. Tell us who your honorees are this year.
So this year, our Grand Marshal is Mr. Charles Chuck Frazier. He is a main fixture in the Toms River Ocean County sports area. He's the father of retired baseball player Todd Frazier, who played for the Mets and the Yankees. Um, he's been attached to the Irish community and with the parade for years. And our Irish Woman of the Year is Mrs. Nully. Her and her husband helped found the parade almost 48 years ago.
Wow, a 48-year legacy. I know it takes a lot of work to keep things like this alive, and I'm sure you rely on so many charitable partners in the community, donations. Tell us about some of those.
Well, one of our main partners is 1071 The Boss and that media group and all its sister stations. We also are a 501c3 non-for-profit organization, and all the members they volunteer their time. So with that, we do events throughout the course of the year. So we have an Irish festival in Seaside Park on the Island Marina lawn. It's called Shamrocks by the Sea. That's our big moneymaker. And throughout the course of the year, we have events scattered around Ocean County.
Yeah, so you are doing things all year round. That's so amazing to hear. Who marches in your parade?
We have from the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to the Knights of Columbus. We have businesses. They sponsor floats. They bring their cars. They'll deck out their vehicles. We have Irish organizations like the Ancient Order of Hibernians. It's the largest, oldest Irish Catholic organization in North America. They're there. We have Ironbound Irish businesses. Like I said, the Hawk, 1071 will be there in their vehicles, and just people who just want to be Irish and want to march in the parade and show their spirit.
Well, everybody is Irish on St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, I know that the parade is along the boulevard. Are the boardwalk stores open too for patrons?
Oh, most definitely. Um, Normally, if you have a quiet day in March in Seaside and there's not a lot going on, so at the end of the parade, we have an after party at the Hershey Motel. So all the bands, we do a mass band there, and we have just all the pipe bands, all the honorees, they go there and they hang out for the afternoon. And then we work our way down along the boardwalk, along the boulevard. We end up at Cleese at the end of the evening, but everything on the boardwalk is open that day. It's a really great event.
What's new this year for 2023?
Wow, what's new this year? Um, as far as the parade goes, um, we've added more attendees. We have a little bit more sponsorship. SurePoint Distributor is helping us out as well. Um, with the parade marches, we're doing it a little bit electronically. So if your organization wants to march in the parade, they can go to our website, ocstpatsdayparade.com, and they can apply that way. And just where the town also gives us the stage, and it helps us protect us from the wind because you never know what it's going to be like in March.
Why are you so passionate about this cause and your Irish culture?
Well, my great grandfather is Michael Davitt. He's the founder of the Land League. They used to help itinerant farmers in Ireland, protect them from getting kicked off their properties over in Ireland. This is back in the 1800s. And it's my culture's been one of the stalwarts raising me, and how to basically keep in touch with your roots. My grandmother came off the boat from Ireland, and I've been a member of the Hibernians since the early 90s, and Tom King and I have been friends for a long time. I used to own a kilt shop in Tom's River, and we just started partnering up, and the baton was passed to us to do the parade together, and we just grew it from there.
And it takes so much planning. I mean, people don't realize it's a year-long commitment.
Yes, it is a 12-month event, even though it's, the first week of March. Um, Planning on before the parade, we have a mass at the church over there that we represent. And it's just between getting vendors, getting sponsorship, keeping up with the website. We sell merchandise now. We had never done that before. Whether it's a fleece pullover or just a simple t-shirt, we sell hats and beanies. And that's another way that we raise funds for the festival. But it takes a dedicated committee to, where we delegate jobs to, and we follow up, and it helps things run smoothly.
Patrick, one more time, where can people find out more about the parade coming up on March 11th?
Two places. You can go to our website, ocstpatricksdayparade.com, or you can find us on Facebook. The same thing, Ocean County St. Patrick's Day Parade. We have our event page there. This way you can see what's coming up. Oh, and I forgot one last thing. We're partnering up with the Lakewood or the Blue Claws with their Irish Night in June.
Oh, so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for spreading the luck of the Irish to Seaside, Ocean County, and beyond. We look forward to seeing you out there.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you there.
Parsippany High School senior Brandon Hiltz was named the Super Football Conference Stephen DiGregorio Young Man of the Year. Hiltz won the award for his friendship with J.M. Jackham, who has autism. Brandon is here now to discuss the award. Brandon, congratulations and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, first of all, tell us about your friendship with J.M.
It's just a special bond that no one can really break, honestly. I mean, I've been friends with him since the second grade, and it's going to grow from there.
Tell us about the nomination process. Was it something that you put in for, or did somebody nominate you from the community?
At the end of the regular season for high school football in New Jersey, at least, the athletic director, principal, and the coach get together and decide who should best represent Coach DiGregorio, and they honor him at the last game. So me and the other kid from Kinnelon got nominated, and every team gets one nominee. I was nominated to the first team all conference in my division. I don't really like to go on about that. I mean, I'd just like to say that I was good. After you got nominated, we had to fill out a scholarship type thing. So it came with questions like, what community service do you do in your town? What was your favorite community service project? All the volunteer hours that I did. And it required a letter of recommendation from either a parent, teacher, or someone that you work for, or someone else. So I picked JM's dad to write mine for me. I didn't get to read it, but at the ceremony they read part of it, as they did everyone else's, and it was impactful. Honestly, it made me tear up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, it was. Some of the stuff he wrote in there, I didn't realize what I was doing. So there was 115, and then there was they selected 7 of us out of all our conferences. So there were 7 conferences, and whoever won their conference got moved up to the final 7. So I was one of those, and then at the And then they became the big announcement. That's when I found out I won. I was going to go to the Super Bowl. It happened in MetLife and like one of their big rooms that they have up there. So we got there around 10 in the morning. They had a nice breakfast for us, for me and my family and all the other award winners that were there. And then we sat down. A couple people from the Jets came up there and spoke. And then their Walter Payton Man of the Year, Solomon Thomas, got up there and talked about how what he's doing for the Walter Payton Man of the Year for the NFL, and that was pretty cool. And then the head of the Super Football Conference, Mr. Pyro, announced all the nominees, and then he announced the winner from there. I mean, it was great to be picked for the award, just let alone nominated. So, I mean, all the other kids too were as great. So, just to be picked and like be recognized for something that I wasn't trying to do. I was just doing it for if I was in that same situation, I want someone to do the same for me. So,
what's next for you? Are you playing football in college, and where are you planning on going?
I'm probably not going to play football in college, but my top choices right now is probably Monmouth. I like South Jersey. It's close to home where I can go home if I wanted to for a weekend, but far enough to where I have that nice hour in between me and my parents.
You are an amazing kid. I wish you the best of luck in college and beyond. I know you're going to go really far in life. Thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Live Like a Unicorn is a New Jersey nonprofit that helps children with brain and spinal cord cancers and their families. Joining us now to tell us more is the organization's president and CEO, Emma Edwards. Emma, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, your daughter Liv actually started this organization while she was unfortunately battling this kind of cancer. Can you tell us more about her story?
She did. So Liv was 8 at the time. She was a typical, normal, healthy kid. She started complaining about shoulder pain, and we attributed it to a fall that she had taken snowboarding. I brought her to the orthopedist, and they said it could be a small hairline fracture, a torn ligament, a pulled muscle, and we couldn't figure out what was causing her pain after MRIs and x-rays, and I kept on bringing them back, and I just knew, I had that mom intuition that I just knew something wasn't right. I ended up bringing her to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where they found a tumor actually inside of her spinal cord, which was pressing on her nerves, which was causing her pain. We were admitted right away. A few days later, she had a 14-hour surgery to try and remove as much of the tumor as possible. And we got the diagnosis of a stage 4 high-grade glioma. And unfortunately, they gave her 9 months to live. We didn't know at the time how common brain and spinal cord tumors were and how there's very little research. And we really didn't have any treatment options for her besides palliative radiation.
I have no words. I'm just so sorry. Was it 9 months? Were you able to have it one more time?
It was 9 months to the day. It was 9 months to the day, and we had tried a clinical trial out of NYU, but when Liv was sick, I always say that she was like my old soul, and we explained to her that there's not a lot of funding, there's not a lot of help for children with cancer, especially brain and spinal cord cancer. And she decided that day that she wanted to do something about it. So she organized her first fundraiser. Like many little girls, she was obsessed with unicorns. So she called it Live Like a Unicorn. And she raised $10,000 that summer for pediatric cancer research.
Were you just blown away that in the middle of this hurricane, that your young daughter wanted to do something like this?
I wasn't, because I knew her. I would go to her parent-teacher conferences, and they would tell me she's the kid that sits with someone when they're by themselves or invites someone to play with them. She was always, always so empathetic and always thinking of others. So I wasn't surprised when she wanted to do something about it.
How long ago did she pass?
It was just 3 years in November. So her birthday actually is coming up in February. She should be turning 12.
How have you been able to carry on her legacy?
So her foundation is really how we carry on her memory. I have her brother is now going to be 10, the end of March, but he's very involved in as well. And it's kind of how we keep her memory alive and keep her with us every day. There's a few different things we do with our organization. The first thing is we put grants into brain cancer research. So in the past 3 years, since our foundation has become official, we have granted over $500,000 in brain tumor research. So we work with Seattle Children's Hospital. We work with some hospitals in California. We just did a grant to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So those are the main hubs really that we've been funding.
You're also providing assistance to families going through this as well. How do you do so?
That's right. So we work with a lot of the social workers. We have about 15 hospitals. So we support families in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. We give them $1,000 grants to really pay for whatever they need. So for us, our biggest expense was not medical bills like everyone thinks. It was parking. So we would drive to New York, we're in New Jersey, and it was tolls, and then about $50 to park our car every time we had a hospital visit. And when Liv was on hospice, she was in NYU for 6 weeks, and our daughter had passed away. We went downstairs and we had an over $3,000 parking bill. So we hope to help families with things like that so they can concentrate on taking care of their sick child instead of worrying about some of their costs and bills associated with treatment.
You would think the hospital would waive that, right?
You would think, but New York, it's so many private parking garages. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the last thing you needed at that point. And then also too, how are parents expected to work under these circumstances?
So normally one parent has to take a leave of absence from their job. So luckily I was already a stay-at-home mom. And my husband's company was great, allowing him to spend so much time with us. But many families struggle so much financially.
How do you raise money for the organization?
We have a ton of fundraisers throughout the year. We've had a lot of amazing local businesses that have also jumped on board to help us fundraise. This past February, Liv would have turned 12. And every year we work with a ice cream parlor down here called Jersey Freeze. They're in Freehold, which is our hometown, as well as Holmdel. And they created something called Liv's Birthday Shake. They sell it in both of their locations for the whole weekend, and all of the money raised went back to our foundation. We have had soccer tournaments. We've had softball tournaments. We do a virtual 5K, which will be in May, which is Brain Tumor Cancer Awareness Month. We have actually a big event in July. We hosted at one of the Christmas tree farms in Monmouth County. It's called Christmas in July. And so many of the hospitals, they run out of everything by July because no one ever thinks when you're at the beach that kids are in the hospital and they need toys. So we do a huge statewide toy drive, but we also host all of our families from all over New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. They come to the Christmas tree farm. We have Santa there in like a beach hat and like a summer shirt. And they all take pictures. We do family portraits for all of them. So it's a really great event and kind of really shows like what our mission is about. A lot of our things have been in flux because when we started the foundation, we lost Liv 2019 and then the pandemic hit. So I always say this is really our first year of being able to have in-person events and kind of figure out what all that looks like.
Tell us all about your unicorn boxes and how they help families, not just in New Jersey, but all over the country.
So our Unicorn Box program is actually a care kit program for kids throughout the country with no matter what kind of pediatric cancer they were diagnosed with. They're filled with things like comfort items, crafts, Lego sets, for our younger kids, baby blankets, some bath toys. They're really things that a mom can kind of stick in her purse and bring to clinic or bring to long car rides going back and forth to treatment. The inspiration was Liv was, like I said, on a clinical trial, and she took her chemo every Thursday night. And she would wake up every Thursday dreading it because it tasted terrible. It made her feel awful. And a friend of mine started dropping little toys, little packages on our doorstep every Thursday morning. So slowly the narrative began to change that she was excited to see what was dropped off on Thursdays instead of dreading her medication. So we hope to kind of mimic that and do that for kids across the country when they're going through such hard things. So we just reopened enrollment at the beginning of January, and we already have 50 kids enrolled for this year, and we have sent unicorn boxes to over 40 states.
How do you curate the boxes? Do you have a lot of partners that donate?
So, really, we are so lucky that we've had so much support. So I normally put up a wish list, and we have people that just send everything to our headquarters. We've also had some amazing kids that have stepped up to make things for our boxes. We work with a little girl who runs an organization called G's Giving Gowns. She sews hospital gowns as well as these little unicorn pillows that we put. Another child has actually made a joke book. She had over 100 published, and we put those in our boxes as well.
I love that. I just love the support that you've been able to get from all corners of the community.
It's amazing, and we really try and push kids to realize that you're never too young to make a difference, because that's how all of this started. So I love seeing so many of Liv's old classmates and just kids throughout the state really supporting us.
On a personal note, a few years ago, I did a fundraiser for a little girl who was suffering with DIPG, which sounds very similar to the cancer you're speaking about. And I was baffled when I learned that barely any money goes towards researching these types of childhood cancers. Why is that?
So DIPG, Liv had the same kind of cancer. It was just in her spinal cord. DIPG is classified with a very rare mutation called H3.3K27M. Who knew a few years ago that I would know all about this? It's considered a rare disease. So with DIPG, only 400 children a year are diagnosed with that. So it's classified as rare. So the funding is not there. The NCI, unfortunately, gives only 4% to pediatric cancer research. And of that, less than 1% goes to brain tumor research, which brain tumors are now the number one cause of death by disease in children. So I don't know why we're not funding our future. My daughter lost over 70, 80 years of her life because we're not putting funding into research to help these kids. So Liv's cancer and DIPG, I don't know if you know this, is the same cancer that Neil Armstrong's daughter died of. And that was 60, 70 years ago. And the treatment and course of treatment is the exact same. So we were looking at DIPG trials. Unfortunately, so many of those trials exclude spinal cord tumor. So we had hardly anything. Unfortunately, you need a biopsy to be able to test. And now, we are moving the needle, I think, with some treatment options. We fund DIPG trials because I think that once we unlock DIPG and that treatment, it'll honestly be able to cure every kind of cancer. So we've been working with a doctor called Dr. Nick Vitanza in Seattle Children's. He's working on using CAR T-cell therapy for brain tumors, which has never been done. It's been done for leukemia. And I'm currently working with CHOP to bring that trial to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, because we were trying to get on that trial. It didn't open in time. We were going to have to move to Seattle. There's hardly any options on the East Coast. The scary thing is it is a lot more common than you realize. And, I never thought it would be us until, it was. So it's definitely getting common, which is really, really scary. I just hired someone, and her daughter, thank God, is in remission, but had brain cancer 2 towns away from me. Another town away from me, a little girl had brain cancer. So
it's unbelievable. Well, you are doing a lot to kind of turn that tide, as we can see. So thank you for doing that. And I just applaud your strength and bravery in all of this. 3 years ago, that's not a long time, and you've been able to do so much.
Thank you.
Where can people find out more about Live Like a Unicorn, and more importantly, go and support you?
So the best place is our website. So it's www.livelikeaunicorn.org, as well as our social media channels. We're on Instagram and Facebook.
Once again, Emma, thank you so much. We're so sorry for your loss, and anything you ever need, Your New Jersey is there for you.
Thank you so much.
Next week on Your New Jersey.
Right from the beginning, we wanted to ensure that you don't, when you're at Terminal A, you are at Terminal A and you are in New Jersey and not at some generic location airport that is interchangeable.
So it doesn't matter where the school is at, I will get there. I had to go on a bunch of planes, drive a bunch of hours, but I will get there. But right here in New Jersey, I'm delivering books because it's more than just a book, right? It's hope, it's a message, and I want to be there to just start them off on their journey because I know they can do it.
This is the 27th year that we're in right now. And the reason the Russ Berry Making a Difference Award is so special is that it shines a light on people around New Jersey who go out every day to make a difference in their communities.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.